Let's be honest, there's nothing more painful than wasting time and energy on a woman who simply doesn't want you. And here's a truth most men refuse to admit. You can't make someone like you. No charm, no money, no effort. If her feelings aren't there, they aren't there. Trying to force it only makes you look desperate. And worse, it drains your confidence without giving anything in return. The problem is, many men ignore the signs. They misinterpret mixed signals, hold on to hope, or convince themselves that if they just try harder, she'll eventually come around. But the reality is often harsh. If a woman isn't invested, she's already checked out mentally, emotionally, or both. And sticking around in that situation only keeps you stuck in the friend zone, or worse, leaves you feeling undervalued and frustrated. Here's what this video is about. I'm going to break down the clear signs a woman doesn't want you. I'll show you how to read her actions, understand her mindset, and recognize the moments when it's time to walk away. No guessing, no overthinking, and no wasted energy. This isn't about playing games or manipulation. It's about clarity, self-respect, and knowing when to stop chasing what isn't yours to catch. By learning these signs, you can save yourself weeks, months, or even years of wasted effort. You'll also start to understand the patterns in female behavior, which helps you make better decisions and focus on women who actually value your time and attention. And that's a game changer for your confidence, your dating life, and your overall sense of self-worth. Welcome to the channel. If you've ever felt frustrated or stuck wondering whether a woman is truly interested, or if you've wasted time on someone who wasn't, you're in the right place. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have the clarity to spot the signs early, protect your energy, and walk away without regret, keeping your dignity intact. 1. She ghosts or goes silent. Stop chasing. One of the clearest signs a woman doesn't want you is when she disappears. Text messages go unanswered, calls are ignored, and suddenly, the connection that seemed there just vanishes. It's not mysterious, and it's not your fault. But it's a red flag you need to recognize immediately. Men often panic in these moments, thinking, maybe she's just busy, or I'll try harder. The key here is restraint. Don't chase. The truth is, silence is a signal, not a test. Imagine this. You've been texting a woman for a while, things seemed good, and then she stops replying. At first, she might respond sporadically, short answers, delayed responses, but eventually, the messages dry up completely. Some men respond by bombarding her with messages, trying to win her back or explain themselves. This reaction almost always backfires. When a woman goes silent, chasing her communicates desperation, not attraction. It lowers your value instantly because it tells her she has control over your attention. Don't overanalyze. Give yourself the space to step back and let her absence speak for itself. If she wanted to engage, she would. Your energy is too valuable to waste on someone who has already mentally checked out. In fact, when you stop chasing, you regain power in the dynamic. Silence meets silence, but the difference is that you're acting from confidence, not neediness. Recognize that ghosting or going silent is often a reflection of her interest, not your worth. Men make the mistake of internalizing it as rejection of themselves, when in reality it's just a signal about her feelings, or lack thereof. There's no amount of charm, persistence, or clever texting that can make someone interested if she isn't. Accepting this reality is the first step toward protecting your time and dignity. Walking away doesn't mean giving up. It means respecting yourself. It means understanding that the right woman won't force you to prove your value through constant attention or chasing. She'll show up, she'll communicate, and she'll invest effort just as you do. Anything less is a signal that it's time to redirect your energy elsewhere. By learning to spot this sign early, you avoid unnecessary frustration, emotional drain, and wasted time. Silence is a powerful indicator, and your response, or lack of one, can set the tone for how you are treated in every future interaction. Step back, recognize the truth, and don't waste another second trying to force interest where it doesn't exist. 2. Excuses. Replace action. Pay attention. Another major sign a woman isn't interested is when excuses replace action. Words are easy. Anyone can say, "I'd love to see you," or "I'm really busy, but let's plan something soon." But actions reveal the truth. If she consistently makes excuses instead of showing up or following through, it's a clear signal that her interest isn't real. The first thing to notice is pattern over time. Everyone has a legitimate reason to cancel or reschedule occasionally. Life gets busy, work conflicts arise, or unexpected things happen. The difference is in repetition. If she constantly cancels, postpones, or avoids commitment without effort to make it right, it's not about her schedule, it's about her level of interest. Real interest shows itself in prioritization. Pay attention to how much effort she puts into planning or following through. A woman who wants you will rearrange her schedule, make time, and initiate contact. A woman who doesn't want you gives excuses, avoids responsibility, and leaves you hanging. Excuses often sound reasonable on their own, but the pattern tells the story. If it's always something, "I'm tired, I have too much work, maybe another time," it's a signal to step back. Another red flag is when she talks about wanting to meet or hang out, but never commits. Words without action are empty. Men often fall into the trap of believing future promises or vague plans. This is where many guys waste weeks or months waiting for someone to show genuine effort. Don't fall into that trap. Her actions, or lack of them, speak louder than her words ever could. Excuses also tend to shift responsibility onto you. If she consistently blames her schedule, other people, or outside circumstances while not actively trying to make time for you, it's a subtle way of signaling disinterest. A woman who truly wants to invest in you finds a way, not a reason why she can't. The takeaway here is simple. Stop giving your energy to someone who doesn't prioritize you. Excuses are signals, and repeated excuses are warnings. If a woman isn't acting in ways that reflect genuine interest, it's time to protect your time, your confidence, and your self-respect. Stop overthinking, stop rationalizing, and recognize that consistent inaction equals a lack of desire. 3. She avoids real conversations. Take the hint. One of the clearest ways to tell a woman doesn't want you is when she avoids real, meaningful conversations. Surface-level chat is easy. She'll joke, flirt casually, or talk about random things. But when it comes to deeper connection, she disappears. If she consistently avoids discussing feelings, future plans, or anything personal, it's a signal that she's not invested. Real conversations require effort and vulnerability. A woman who's genuinely interested in you will make time for them. She'll ask questions, share personal details, and show curiosity about your life. If she dodges these moments, brushes off your questions, or changes the topic constantly, she's signaling that emotional investment isn't on her agenda. This isn't about testing or nitpicking, it's about reading her level of engagement. Words like, "I like you," or casual compliments mean very little if they aren't backed by actual depth in interaction. If she's only showing surface-level attention, it's because she's not emotionally present, and emotional presence is a key indicator of genuine interest. Another aspect to notice is her ability to sustain conversations. If she frequently cuts chats short, seems distracted, or gives vague responses, it's a strong indication that she's not prioritizing you. Men often misread these behaviors as "she's busy" or "she's playing hard to get," but in reality, consistent avoidance is a form of disinterest. You're investing energy in someone who isn't matching your effort, and that creates imbalance in the connection. Also, pay attention to her willingness to discuss the future. A woman who avoids talking about seeing you again, plans for dates, or even casual long-term topics is sending a subtle but firm signal. Interest isn't just about being present in the moment. It's about engaging in ways that suggest continuity. If that continuity isn't there, it's time to reevaluate. Finally, understand that actions speak louder than words. If she avoids meaningful conversation repeatedly, it's not bad timing or shyness. It's a reflection of her investment level. Men often ignore this sign, convincing themselves that persistence or charm will change it. But true interest is active, not passive. If she's not showing it through engagement, she's not invested. And your best move is to step back and protect your energy. Avoiding real conversations isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's a red flag. Recognizing it early saves you frustration, wasted effort, and heartbreak. When you learn to identify this behavior, you can redirect your focus toward women who are genuinely present and invested in creating a connection. 4. Zero effort, all demands. Know your worth. One of the most obvious signs a woman doesn't want you is when she puts in zero effort but expects everything from you. She texts when it's convenient for her, shows up only when it suits her schedule, and makes little or no effort to maintain the connection. But she expects you to entertain her, respond immediately, and constantly invest energy. This isn't just frustrating. It's a clear indicator that she doesn't value your time or attention. The first thing to notice is imbalance in energy and effort. Relationships, even in the early stages, should have some mutuality. If you're always the one reaching out, making plans, or initiating conversation, and she rarely reciprocates, that imbalance tells the truth. A woman who's genuinely interested will match your energy at least some of the time. If she doesn't, it's a sign her heart isn't in it. Another red flag is expecting you to bend over backward for her while giving little in return. She might cancel plans last minute, but expects you to rearrange your schedule. She may ask for favors, attention, or validation, but never offers the same. This one-sided dynamic erodes self-respect quickly if you allow it. The moment you realize you're always giving while receiving little, it's time to reevaluate. Pay attention to how she communicates effort. Even small gestures matter. A text to check in, a plan she initiates, or a genuine interest in your life. A woman who doesn't want you won't show this. She may flirt or compliment casually, but there's no substance behind it. That's why words alone aren't enough. True interest is demonstrated through action. Another important point: you don't have to tolerate entitlement or one-sided attention. Some men convince themselves that putting in all the effort is proof of their value, hoping it will win her over. It rarely does. In fact, it often lowers your perceived value because it signals neediness. Women respect men who recognize their worth and refuse to settle for imbalance. Lastly, know that your time and energy are valuable. A woman who demands constantly but invests nothing is sending a clear message. She's not interested in you as an equal partner. Recognizing this early prevents wasted effort and preserves your confidence. Walking away isn't rejection. It's self-respect. 5. Flaky plans and broken promises. Walk away. Flackiness and broken promises are a huge warning sign that a woman isn't serious or genuinely interested in you. It's one thing if she cancels occasionally due to real-life emergencies, but when it becomes a pattern, it tells you everything you need to know. Men often ignore this behavior, convincing themselves that she's just busy or has a lot going on. The reality? Repeated flakiness is a clear signal. She's not invested and she won't prioritize you. Imagine you've been planning to meet her for a date. She agrees enthusiastically, promises a specific time, and you block off your schedule to accommodate her. Then she cancels at the last minute, or worse, never shows up and gives a vague excuse later. Maybe it happens again next week. Many men will continue to make plans, hoping she'll eventually follow through. But by constantly rearranging your life for someone who doesn't value your time, you're sending the opposite message, that it's okay to treat you casually. Flakiness also reflects her level of emotional investment. Someone who genuinely wants you will make time, even when life gets busy. She will communicate clearly, take responsibility for changes in plans, and try to make it right. A woman who consistently flakes isn't just unreliable. She's signaling that the connection doesn't matter enough to her to prioritize or respect. Another aspect to notice is the pattern, not isolated incidents. Life is unpredictable, and everyone cancels once in a while. But if excuses, broken promises, or vague rescheduling become a regular occurrence, it's time to recognize the pattern. Men often rationalize this behavior, hoping things will change, but people rarely change unless they truly want to. Repeated flakiness is a window into her true priorities, and the truth is harsh. You're not a priority. When faced with this pattern, the healthiest response is to walk away with dignity. Protect your time, energy, and self-respect. Walking away doesn't have to be dramatic. Just recognize that repeated flakiness is a consistent sign of disinterest. Stop making yourself available to someone who won't show up for you, and redirect your focus toward women who are willing to invest in a genuine connection. Remember, you deserve someone who respects your time and keeps their word. Flakiness isn't a minor flaw. It's a signal that the connection isn't mutual. The earlier you recognize it, the sooner you can avoid wasted time and emotional energy. Stop making excuses for her behavior and start making decisions that protect your value. 6. Her interest peaks elsewhere. Don't compete. Another unmistakable sign a woman doesn't want you is when her attention and interest are clearly elsewhere. Maybe she's constantly on her phone, talking about other men, or showing excitement about social events where you're not involved. This isn't subtle. It's a reflection of where her energy and focus truly lie. Men often try to compete for her attention, thinking that more effort, charm, or persistence will change the situation. The truth is simple. You can't compete for interest that isn't there. When a woman's attention peaks elsewhere, it's a signal that she's not invested in building a connection with you. You'll notice it in subtle ways. She prioritizes other plans over yours, seems distracted when you're together, or doesn't respond with the enthusiasm you'd expect. These moments are often brushed off by men as, "she's just busy," or "she has a lot going on." But the pattern is consistent and telling. Energy follows attention, and if hers isn't on you, the connection is one-sided. It's also important to recognize emotional unavailability. A woman whose interest is elsewhere rarely engages deeply with you. She may flirt casually or give compliments, but there's no meaningful connection. Conversations stay surface level, plans are half-hearted, and she's often more invested in social validation or other distractions than in spending time with you. Men often misread this as a challenge to win her over, but in reality, it's a red flag to step back. Trying to compete for someone else's attention is exhausting and counterproductive. You risk lowering your value in her eyes because chasing someone who isn't invested comes across as desperation. Women respect men who have standards and won't fight for attention that isn't freely given. By stepping back, you maintain your dignity, protect your energy, and signal that your time is valuable. Another thing to keep in mind is long-term patterns versus occasional moments. It's normal for anyone to have brief distractions or priorities outside the relationship, but when her peak interest consistently aligns elsewhere, it's a clear message: she isn't invested in you. Ignoring this reality leads to frustration, lowered confidence, and wasted time. The takeaway here is simple. Don't compete for someone who isn't fully present. Focus on your value, maintain your standards, and redirect your energy toward women who are genuinely interested. Her attention elsewhere is a signal, not a puzzle. You don't need to figure it out. You need to act on it. Walking away isn't rejection. It's self-respect in action. 7. You're settling for less. Wake up now. Here's the reality most men refuse to admit. If you're clinging to a woman who shows clear signs of disinterest, you're settling for less than you deserve. You might think that her occasional attention, flirtation, or maybe someday promises are enough, but in truth, it's a slow drain on your confidence, energy, and self-respect. Men need to wake up and realize that chasing someone who doesn't want them isn't romantic. It's self-sabotage. Here's where constructive reflection comes in. Take a hard look at your patterns. Are you pursuing women who clearly aren't invested? Are you giving too much while receiving too little? Are you prioritizing hope over reality? One of the biggest mistakes is rationalizing her behavior. You tell yourself things like, "She's just busy," "She's testing me," or "I just need to be patient." These stories keep you stuck and justify behavior that should be a deal breaker. The truth is, if she were genuinely interested, she would make it obvious through consistent effort and engagement. Anything less is settling, plain and simple. Another problem is ignoring your own standards. Many men compromise what they want in a relationship for fear of being alone or missing out. You start accepting excuses, flakiness, and lack of investment because you think it's better than nothing. But that mindset kills attraction and teaches women that your value is negotiable. Real self-respect comes from holding your standards firm and refusing to accept half measures. It's also worth noting that being aware but inactive is just as harmful. You may recognize the signs, a lack of effort, broken promises, interest elsewhere, but you continue to invest anyway, hoping something will change. This is a trap. The longer you wait, the more you lower your self-esteem, and the harder it becomes to step away. Awareness without action is wasted awareness. These are uncomfortable questions, but they're necessary if you want to stop settling and start demanding the respect and attention you deserve. Finally, the solution is simple but requires courage. Walk away when the signs are clear. Protect your time, energy, and dignity. Stop chasing women who don't value you and redirect your focus toward those who are willing to invest in you fully. This isn't about playing games. It's about acting with integrity and self-respect. The moment you stop settling, you reclaim your power and open the door to real mutual attraction. Wake up. Stop rationalizing, stop chasing, and stop settling. Your time, your energy, and your worth are too valuable to give to someone who isn't willing to show up for you. Here's a truth most men refuse to face. If a woman doesn't show genuine interest, nothing you do will change that. Chasing, rationalizing, or hoping for her attention only lowers your value and drains your confidence. The harsh reality is simple. Time spent on someone who doesn't want you is time wasted. And every day you ignore the signs is another day you settle for less than you deserve. The good news? Recognizing the signs early gives you clarity, power, and freedom. You can protect your energy, maintain your self-respect, and focus on women who are genuinely invested. Silence, excuses, flakiness, avoidance, and attention elsewhere. They're all signals, and they're not subtle. Ignoring them doesn't make them go away. It only keeps you stuck. The moment you accept reality and act on it, you reclaim control over your dating life and your confidence. Here's something to think about. Most men waste months or even years trying to win over women who will never value them. That's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of ignoring reality. Stop chasing signals, stop settling, and start prioritizing yourself. I want to hear from you. Have you ever realized a woman wasn't interested too late? Or maybe you caught the signs early and walked away? How did that feel? Drop your experiences in the comments. I read everyone and will engage with you because these are real situations that teach real lessons. By sharing, we all learn how to protect our time, energy, and dignity while finding women who truly value us. Remember, your time and worth are non-negotiable. Walk away when the signs are clear and focus on the connections that actually matter.